Good evening, everyone. I'm Regina, and I'm a junior studying bioengineering and mechanical engineering. And when I started Talent Gateway, I was a freshman living on my own for the very first time, and it also happened to be during a global pandemic. So my first college experiences looked like sitting on a laptop in my bedroom and setting alarms on my phone so that I wouldn't miss Zoom calls. And then after about a year, everything switched back to in-person. So I quickly had to learn where everything was, and I had to familiarize myself with this new in-person setting. And it became very overwhelming to me, and I felt that I needed to make up for that first year I lost to COVID. And fortunately, Talent Gateway gave me the strategy I needed to take each opportunity one step at a time. And it challenged me to explore my potential and break out of my comfort zone. So I started by applying for a job as a biology lab assistant. And here I gained my very first in-person lab experience setting up labs for bio classes, and I also was able to see what it was like to work a job on campus. I also joined the Formula SAE racing team, where I could apply my academics to real-life situations, as well as see what it was like to work in a project team for the first time. And while these were amazing experiences to be a part of, I felt like I still wasn't living up to my full potential, and I still felt a little lost. But these activities still pointed me in the right direction towards achieving my academic and professional and personal goals. For example, from Formula SAE, I learned about other project teams on campus, and that's how I ended up in NASA, the rocket team. And I never thought that I would be building and launching a real-life rocket, but because I kept an open mind, I had the opportunity to work in a team and creatively solve problems alongside them. Additionally, from the biolab job that I previously mentioned, I worked with a girl who told me about the Summer Undergraduate Research Experience, or SURE program. And at the time, the idea of research seemed very intimidating to me, and it felt like something that was way beyond my expertise, but I just decided to take the leap. So this girl told me to email as many professors as I could and ask them to mentor me. So that's what I did. I emailed all these professors. I didn't know who any of them were, and I said, "Hi, I'm Regina. I have zero experience. Will you mentor me?" And there was one professor, Dr. Escobar, who told me that she could do the program with me, and that's how I ended up in the Human Factors and Biomechanics lab. And under the mentorship of Dr. Escobar and the grad students in the lab, I had the privilege of executing my own pilot research study. And under the program, I also attended professional development sessions, and I presented my research at a showcase on campus. And it was one of the most beneficial experiences I've ever had. After the program ended, Dr. Escobar hired me, so now I work in the lab as a research assistant. So where am I now? So I was able to talk about these experiences in my resume as well as to employers at a career fair. And I secured a couple of interviews, so hopefully in the summer I'll be working an internship. Until then, I will continue to be a member of the Society of Women Engineers, the Biomedical Engineering Society, MASA, and any other orgs that spark my interest. And also the grad students that I work with in the lab told me that there is an accelerated program where I could earn my bioengineering master's 1 year after I finished my undergrad. So I applied and I was accepted, and next year I'm going to start that program. And I'm just very thankful that Talent Gateway has taught me that I can learn from every experience, and it has shown me how to explain the competencies that I developed through those experiences in a way that highlights my value and my potential. I now know my strengths and how I can leverage them to my advantage, and I also know my weaknesses and how I can overcome them in a way that turns them into strengths. And this is all possible because I found that, like science, learning isn't always linear. And while I thought my learning about myself would look like this, it looked a lot more like this. And Somewhere in this whole jumble was a process that looked like this. And it basically showed that developing my personal skills allowed me to develop my academic skills, which in turn allowed me to develop my career skills. And it's just a cycle that allows you to achieve your goals in all of these aspects of your life. And in other words, growth brings growth brings growth. And if there's anything that I want other people to learn from my story, I would want them to know that you should trust the process, you should talk to others, and you should always keep an open mind. Because if you remember these things, you will lessen your anxiety about the path that you're on and where you're heading. And you will know that every experience, whether good or bad, is an opportunity for growth as a student, as a professional, and as a person. And outside of Talent Gateway, challenges will always be thrown at you throughout your life. But if you remember these things, then you will be capable of handling them with the skill set that you build along the way. Thank you.